Good morning, brothers and sisters wrapped in this glorious sun-kissed skin. Let me start by saying I only have one foot on my soapbox this morning, and this black tea sip is not a rant. It's just simply personal observation. Let me start by saying, yes, you are correct. I'm in the clothes I had on yesterday because I have not slept. And I don't mind this little sleep deprivation because I think about the sleep deprivation that the mothers of slain, unarmed men, women, and children go through. Those mothers, those fathers, those family members, and friends have a significant amount of PTSD, which causes their sleep deprivation. And so I am here drinking my pomegranate white tea, trying to flush and detox, get a boost of energy, and go on with the day. But I do have a few things I want to share with you today, and so I am grateful for the opportunity to do that. Let me start by saying that I had the honor and the privilege to be with faith leaders um, and civil rights activist Lee Merritt, Reverend Dr. Frederick Douglass Haynes III, Reverend Marcus King, Reverend Damon Durr, Reverend Michael Waters, Minister Danielle Ayers, and many others. Botham Jean's pastor was there yesterday. I want to say this. I know that we do a lot of marching and a lot of protesting, and one of my big things has been we march without consequence. Yesterday's march, we asked for specific things. One, Reverend Haynes asked, in solidarity with the rest of us, for the firing of Amber Geiger. Two, we asked that the charge be changed from manslaughter to the correct and most appropriate charge of murder. And three, we demanded that Jerry Jones utilize his platform other than a plantation cotton picking mentality and forcing these players to not be able to exercise their will. And I think that that was significant because not only were we there in unison with a power to the people kind of mentality, but there were two coffins. And those coffins represented Botham Jean and the assassination of his character, as well as O'Shea Terry. I want to pause there briefly because I want to simply say I think that I have been complicit in this as well, that I have not been as vocal talking about his senseless murder. I did mention it when I said police officers just get off the car, get the tag, go get them later. You don't have to kill them. I was referring to O'Shea Terry, but I think because I have allowed the media to sway my judgment as well and not really talk about and highlight this young man's life. And I think what Lee said was very impactful when he said he used to gangbang, but he has had an opportunity to live out his legacy in a way that O'Shea Terry won't. And so we cannot allow the media to suggest to us to be dismissive when one of our brethren is murdered. We have to also hold them accountable to the fact that you didn't allow this man to fulfill his prophecy, whatever that was going to be. So I want to just simply say, in honor and remembrance of Botham Jean and O'Shea Terry, that protest I thought was significant because people, it's one thing to march with your fist in the air. It's something else for people to look at two coffins. And so I think that that was very impactful. And I was grateful for the opportunity to participate because I know that we can't all be in all places, and there have been several rallies and things going on. But that really brings me to my next point. There were no city leaders with us yesterday, black or white. Nobody from city council. There was nobody that was from Dallas law enforcement. I can understand how that might be a little tense for some. However, the only leaders there were faith leaders. I think it's ironic that our elected officials tell us to pray and our faith leaders tell us to galvanize. I think that's quite significant. I think we ought to pay attention. The other thing I want to talk about is that there are 13 people running for Dwayne Caraway's seat in District 4. I was born and raised in District 4, and I live in District 4 happily as a member of that district now. What I want to say very clearly, unequivocally, and categorically is this. Stop asking us for our vote if you're not engaged in our pain. If you are not trying to lessen, dampen, dilute, and weaken the hurt that we feel, then stop asking us for our vote. 13 people are asking for your consideration and seeking your support. I have not been to everything, but I have been to enough rallies and protests to know, one, Kiara Witherspoon is actively involved with Next Generation Network, so I'm not talking about her. Her life's work is activism. Yesterday, I noticed Becky Lewis showed up, and I had an opportunity to walk out of the stadium with her. And one of the things she said to me was sometimes when she sees it, it's so far along that she's not going to have time to make it. But she stopped what she was doing yesterday because it came across her feed, and she raced out there because she thought it was important to honor those men in a way that was significant. I don't think that she was aware that there was going to be any press of any kind, because I'm not sure the rest of us were aware. But what I did appreciate is that she drove from Oak Cliff to Arlington to simply participate. I think we ought to give credence to those persons who are asking us for our vote that are actively participating and acknowledging our humanity. It's one thing to say, I want to be your city council person because I understand code, policy making, you want your trash picked up on time. It's something else to say, I am here alongside you, and as your city council member, I'm going to support you in your efforts to have your humanity acknowledged, not just trash pickup. And I'm not making light of trash pickup. We want our trash picked up, but I think you get my meaning. And so whomever is anointed to fill the seat of Dwayne Caraway, because I think those are big shoes regardless of what you think about him. Dwayne would have been out there marching, and we all know that. I think that it is significant to say, to elect someone who also understands that we got PTSD, and we are looking for City Hall to help us make sense of what has happened, in particular with Botham Jean. I also want to say this. Many people are on social media, me, and talking about it. I've been a lot more vocal yesterday because, frankly, I'm just tired. But I like a lot of what's going on because I don't think it's a particular person. It's just the climate. To bathroom gangsters, people who sitting in the mirror before they leave home and talk shit to themselves so they can feel hard walking out the door. If you are on social media and you are, talking about all these things that are going on from a civil rights issue, but you are not picking up the phone and saying that you expect Amber Geiger to lose her job, to not be an active employee of the Dallas Police Department. And I don't know if her leave is paid or unpaid. I do not know. But I do know that she has not been terminated in her position. You shoot somebody, get arrested, charged with manslaughter. See if you can go to work the next day. The woman has not been fired. Now you say that out loud to yourself 3 times and see if it makes sense to you. I'll hold. Yeah, it don't make no sense. So, we have to do a little bit more than talking about it. We got to be about it. And I recognize you can't be in all places all the time, but you don't always have to have an opinion in support of, against, because sometimes people just need your body there to show support in unison, in solidarity, to show that there is a uniting of hearts and minds. And so let's not fall prey to that, because I think that's what they would rather have us do. Let's do. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. But I want to say one more thing real quick, because I just got one foot on my soapbox this morning. This black tea sip is supposed to be quick. I was at the North Dallas Q's picnic on Saturday. And Chief U. Renee Hall. What y'all think that U stand for? Okay, but she don't want us to know. But she was there. I found it extremely distasteful that the chief of police is out kicking it with the Q's, Omega oil splashing all over the place. And we got a Botham Jean who has literally set our city in turmoil. I do not think that was a good look. That was not okay. Since I'm talking about black city leaders, I cannot allow that to go unsaid. I would be remiss if I did so. I understand that the job of police chief is extremely stressful and quite rigorous. Now I'm saying I understand it from an arm's length position because y'all know I'm not in law enforcement. But I do think from a compliance standpoint, which I've been in for over a decade, when there is a crisis and something critical going on the job, you don't go out kicking it. It's not okay. Now, perhaps we need to let our transplants know that we will travel 45 minutes to the mall. So you cannot escape us by going to the North Dallas Q's picnic just because it's held in Plano. It's not okay. And what I want to say very, very clearly is we are watching, we are paying attention, and we are going to galvanize and we are going to elect people who are speaking to our issues, listening to our voices, and allowing us to have somebody downtown. I think it's very important for us to know that. And so I am saying that out loud. Social media, that's fine, but make sure you're doing something. Make sure you're voting. Make sure that you're taking someone to vote with you. Organize carpools to get seniors to the polling stations. Let's work together because together we are in this thing. All right. Power to the people. Peace, love, and happiness, brothers and sisters. Only one foot on the soapbox this morning.